In today's video, we're going to take a vintage lens like this right here. We're going to show you how to CineMod it into something like this right here. And stay till the end and find out how much it costs us to put together our set of vintage lenses and how much it'll probably cost you to put together one of your own. Before we get started, do us a favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons. It really goes a long way to help us create more content like this and keep videos coming your way. First off, why Cinevise a lens? Why take a lens from something like this and then turn it to something like this? Well, there's a few reasons. First off, it's mounts. Literally getting a vintage lens onto a modern cinema camera isn't feasible with a lot of vintage lenses, as they just weren't designed for that. Most of these were designed for 35mm SLR cameras. One of the big pluses to cinemoding vintage lenses is the price. Vintage lenses are significantly cheaper than your, say, cinemod lens like modern like Canon glass or some Sony lenses, or even like the top of the line, talking like Zeiss or Ari glass that are going to run you $10,000 to $20,000 a lens possibly. This thing significantly cheaper. I mean, even the best of vintage glass you can usually get for under $1,000, unless you're talking about something special like a Canon Dream lens, or there's a couple other vintage lenses out there that are quite heavily priced, but not a lot compared to cinema lenses. Another reason why is there's a lot of them out there. There's a big availability of cinema lenses, especially depending what you get and where you get them from. Really popular vintage lens is the Helios 44-2. Really probably the most popular vintage lens, I would say, especially since Greg Fraser, the cinematographer on Dune and the Batman, he tends to use one, and I believe the one he uses was actually rehoused by Iron Glass. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was rehoused by Iron Glass here in California. Some of the downsides to using vintage lenses. One of the biggest downsides to using vintage lenses is literally just the build of the lens. The helicoids in here weren't designed to go back and forth over and over again thousands and thousands of times. On a film set, if you're pulling focus, you have movement, anything like that, this thing might get moved quite a bit. Another downside of using vintage lenses is on a cinema set, a lot of times the T-stops or the f-stops on your lens, what the lens opens up to, your actual aperture, are identical. A lot of times they're like 2.8 across the board, or they'll be like 1.8 across the board, or T15. If you have like some really fast glass, I know there's like the Serial Nightwalkers that are like T15 all across the board. Vintage lenses, not so much. This Pentax Takumar set, they run the gamut from an f1.4, this one right here is the fastest lens in the set, all the way up to an f4.5, which is not incredibly fast. So you're not going to get the same, you're not going to be able to shoot the same from lens to lens to lens and just be able to turn those on. You're going to have to either change your lighting, you're going to have to change your exposure, you're going to have to do some things. You may even have to settle with your aperture looking different from shot to shot. You know, you may want to shoot everything at a 2.8. Well, you can if your lens only opens to f4.5. Another disadvantage to shooting on vintage lenses is a lot of them have different size front rings. And the different size front rings makes things like putting adapters, lenses, stuff like that, matte boxes even, on a lens is difficult. Makes it trickier and more complicated. I was using a vintage set of Minolta rockers for the longest time, and anytime I needed to put a matte box on them, I had to use these adapters that Smallrid created to put on my clip-on matte box. And it just slows down production. It's an extra thing you have to carry, and it's not really great for shooting. So, a little bit about this specific set I got right here. These are Pentax Super Takumar lenses from Japan. I really love this set so far. I've shot a few things on them. They're incredibly sharp. They have a really great image that comes out of them. Really beautiful glass. Some of them are really fast. Not all of them are, but they have a lot of character. I think my favorite lens in the set is probably the 35mm f2. It's beautiful, got a really great look, especially for what I like to shoot. But they're a really fantastic set. They're readily available on eBay. You can find a lot of really great sellers out of Japan. I'm going to list some below in the description that I bought some of my lenses from because I think these are really great sellers. They're camera houses based out of Tokyo or Okinawa. They're really, really fabulous. Like, these guys, really great. If they tell you a lens is in excellent condition, it's in excellent condition. So the Asahi lenses were actually made for SLR cameras in the 1960s and 70s. The Pentax Asahi company, they still are around, except they make they make digital cameras now under the name Ricoh Pentax. And their Ricoh point and shoot cameras are actually a lot of fun. I've actually got to play with them a couple times, and they're actually really fantastic cameras. All of these lenses in this set were designed for M42 cameras. That's this M42 threaded mount. It's this right here, if you guys can't see it. Right there. That's it. M42 threaded berry. One of the most standard mounts you'll find in a lot of vintage lenses. A lot of the Helios came in M42. I think there's some Canons. Actually, no, I don't think any of the Canons came in M42, but some of the Russian lenses came in M42 and L39. Somewhat standard mount, and it's actually really easy to find adapters for. Some of the mounts you can adapt to are Sony E Mount, Canon RF mount, Nikon Z mount, and Fuji X mount. The adapters that I got for these lenses are all the exact same type of adapter. I got these ones from eBay. Excuse me, I got these ones from Amazon. And the brand is called Pentax. And I don't even know what it is, if it's an American brand or a Chinese brand. I should show you these right there. And I'll look in focus that close. But these things are called Pentax. They're not the greatest in the world, but they're also not the worst in the world. I found these to be really solid. They lock onto the camera. I don't really get a lot of jitter with them. As long as the lens itself isn't incredibly tight, it won't rattle on the camera. They tend to lock really well. If you see here, they have this inner like silver ring that actually moves, and there's these small little circles on the side that have a really tiny little Allen head style grub screw inside. It comes with a little silver Allen key. You can actually adjust that, and the reason you want to adjust that is so that the f-stops and all your markings, your focus markings, land lined up with the text, because that's always going to lock in on the camera facing up. You may have your stuff facing downward, rightward. This inner screw moves, so definitely know you have to adjust that to get this to sit properly. I had to change a few of them on my own to actually get everything sitting upright, so it's where the operator in AC can actually see it and comfortably use it. So one thing to know when you're buying vintage lenses is that even if the description says it's great, it says it's perfect, it's in great condition or whatnot, it might not be, or it might not be up to snuff. It might not be what you can consider usable. This one specifically right here has an incredibly tight focus gear at the end. I can't use it. Just can't be done, can't be cinevised. There's a $100 lens, just can't be used. It happens. I could have sent it back. I chose not to. I decided to keep it. You know what? Have an extra one. If I needed parts or anything, I could take them from this one. But that happens. That's part of the game with vintage lenses. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. So the 9 lens set that we're going to be cinevising today is going to be the Pentax Super Takumar 20mm f4.5, 24mm f3.5, 28mm f3.5, 35mm f2, 35mm f2, 50mm f1.4, 55mm f1.8, 85mm f1.9, 105mm f2.8, and finally the 135mm f2.5. The 5 items we're going to need, it's going to be the adapter, Mine are going to be M42 to Sony E Mount. We shoot on an FX6 and FX3 here in the studio, so E Mount is our preferred mounting choice. We'll need a focus gear. These are specifically measured for every barrel. I'll show you how and where to get an accurate measurement for these. We'll need a step-up ring for each of the lenses to make the fronts of them uniform. The advantage of this is the ease and adaptability to clip on matte boxes. I'll show you where we get these and why I like them so much. And the final two pieces we'll need are going to be E Mount back caps and 86mm front caps. And I'll tell you why it's 86mm when we get to that point too, because that's actually a little bit crucial. Before you order your focus gears, you're going to need to measure the barrel of your lens. Make sure to measure it at the focus gear. This is where the gear is going to live on the lens, so it's important to measure it at the right position. I use this digital caliper to try and get the most accurate measurement possible. There are several different brands and styles of focus gears you can buy, but in my experience, the best for the price, these focus gears I ordered from CineMod via eBay. I believe CineMod is based out of Ukraine, so best of luck to you out there. Hope you're staying safe. We're going to put a link in the descriptions. Order from them. They're fantastic. They've always taken care of us and done great stuff. Love them. Hope you guys are well. Next, we're going to need to figure out what the front diameter of each of the lenses is. This way we can order the right size step-up ring and make sure we get the accurate size step-up ring for each lens, because every single one of these lenses, well, not every single one, but all the lenses in the set have a different step-up ring. Some are 49mm, some are 55mm, some are 58mm. We're going to have to see what they are and order accordingly. So, step one, the adapters. Like I said, these are some cheap Photassi adapters I ordered on Amazon. They're not amazing, but also I haven't had any issues with them, so I have no complaints yet. Easily enough, it's the simplest part about putting this whole thing together. You just screw the lens right into the adapter, and voila, you're done. So step two for this whole process is putting on the follow focus ring. When you put on the follow focus ring, you're going to want to actually make sure it goes on snug and it doesn't move around or pull or anything. You want to make sure it's nice and lined up, so when it makes a full rotation, it stays perpendicular to the spot it was in and it doesn't kind of move around or wobble or anything. So the step-up rings I order, I actually got these from CineMod. I find them to be the best. The build of them is fantastic. They've got a 95mm outer diameter, but an 86mm inner diameter. That's why when I was earlier just saying that we're going to order specifically 86mm front caps, that's the reason. It's because these step-up rings, as you can see, have an outside diameter that's one size and then an inside diameter that's another. This little edge right here is about 9mm thick. So that's just something to be aware of. These things are absolutely fantastic. And the reason I love CineMod and this brand is that they really take cinematographers and filmmakers into mind. These were designed so you can just clip your matte boxes onto it directly. Love them. Fantastic. Really great build. They look great. Feel great. Well designed. Fantastic. Nothing but good things to say about CineMod. Can't wait to order some more stuff from them. The final step of this, step 5, technically step 4 and 5, that's back cap and front cap. Yeah, all of these front and back caps were ordered via Amazon as well. They're fine. The back caps are just E Mount, so they just are what they are. It's just a piece of plastic that goes on the back to keep it covered and keep air and dust and stuff out of there. The front caps are 86mm diameter. They're the kind of pinch style that you pinch and put on top. I'm not in love with them. I'm going to upgrade. CineMod sells these beautiful aluminum coated ones. I'm going to upgrade those over the holidays and get a new set. And once that's done for the first lens, you literally repeat the process over. Exactly the same way, lens after lens after lens, until you have your full set. As you can see here, I label the caps of all my lenses for quicker access. Makes it just a lot easier on set and easier if I have to tell someone to go grab a lens for me. And now I know what you're wondering. This is the most important question. How much did this cost? Well, let's take a look at everything. We ordered our caps via Amazon for about $20. The 9M42 E Mount adapters came out to about $125. The focus gears, which we got from the eBay seller CineMod, the total of them was just under $135. The step-up rings, that was one of the more pricey parts of this CineMod. We got those from Cine. They came out to about $325 for the 9 step-up rings that we ordered for this. And the 86mm front caps were $45 for 9 of them that we ordered through Amazon as well. Although those are probably going to get, and then we'll get some of those beautiful aluminum Cine caps. Now to the glass. To simplify things, I just kind of rounded the number up to the nearest $5 or $10. I didn't put like $63.50. I put either 65 or 70 or something like that. I just kind of kept it simple to give you guys a nice round number. But here's where it goes. The 20mm costs $235. The 24mm costs $200. The 28mm, $160. The 35mm, $175. The 50mm, $125. The 55mm, $120. The 85mm was the most expensive of the bunch at $350. The 105mm was $200, and the 135mm was $170. So what's the total? I paid roughly $650 for hardware to CineMod the glass, $300 for the Pelican case. Can't forget the Pelican. Also, not a brand sponsor, but always go with Pelican. They're the best. Don't trust your glass or your camera or your expensive equipment with anyone else. Go with Pelican. Not a paid advertisement, but Pelican, reach out to us. We love you. $300 for the Pelican, and the lenses themselves cost roughly $1,735, bringing us to a grand total of $2,685. So for about $2,500, you guys can build your own set, 9-lens set of cinema lenses. You can go cheaper on some of the things. You don't have to get Cine front diopter or front step-up rings, which I suggest you could. You don't have to get a Pelican case, which I think you should. But you can do things and get a cheaper set, or you can start building them one lens at a time. That's how I built it with my first set of Minolta rockers. I just started buying 1 or 2 lenses here and there, and then eventually I had an 11 lens set. And now I have 2 lens sets that I can go out and shoot with and get different looks. And if clients want a vintage look or want something unique and different than what we're shooting with, we can always offer that to them. So make sure to subscribe to our channel to see the lens test that we do with this set. We're going to look at sharpness, color accuracy, bokeh. It's not a scientific test. We're not going to put the lenses through a projector, but we are going to just show you some characteristics, show you what they look like close up, some of that fun stuff. That video should drop in the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And remember, subscribe. You'll be notified when that comes out and when that drops, so you stay up to date with all of our cool new info. And thanks for watching. More stuff to come. Keep shooting, guys. See you next time.
And if you want to see a breakdown of some of the Pentax Takumar lenses that we use in some of our film shoots, head over to Wild 7's Patreon page. We're going to upload a special video there that's going to break down and talk about these lenses specifically in use and some of the characteristics they have and some of our thoughts on them. So head over to the Wild 7 Patreon now.